Welcome to 5 Short Weekly. Are Atlanta United addressing the lack of end product from the wings? We also review the late leveler against the league leaders, and we get you ready for the matchup this weekend against Music City. All that and more coming up. Welcome to the show, 5 Star fam. I'm AJ, and this is Marc. Before we get into it, become part of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button on YouTube. This segment is sponsored by Thinking Man Tavern, a cozy Decatur neighborhood pub. Grab a tasty beverage from a wide variety of selections and a plate of something delicious from the menu. To go, check out Thinking Man Tavern. 5 Star fam, here's your opportunity to help us from the grassroots level. We would love it if you joined us on our Patreon. Yes, we have started a Patreon, and yes, we have all been affected by the pandemic at some point, and this channel has taken a lot of dedicated effort and hard work throughout the years. And yes, if you joined us there, there's a lot of wonderful tiers that you can have some fun with us, and especially joining us in our official Patreon only Discord. It'd be lovely to see you there. But on top of that, as a bonus, we are doing a ticket giveaway for the match this Saturday against Nashville SC. So if you're one of the first people to join us on Patreon, we will do a giveaway on Friday to pretty much reveal that winner, and you will have free tickets to the game. So really, it's win-win. It's you help us, and then you also get a little bit of a nice little prize, possibly. So join us there, and yeah, maybe see you at the Nashville match. But guys, let's get into the match review. And yes, we have rescued a point against the league leaders in Seattle Sounders, our only real away match to the West Coast this season. And it started auspiciously for sure. But, I think, what was it, 8th minute that Rui Diaz scored. And after that, largely a kind of match that, well, we kind of controlled a lot of the possession, but was there a lot of incisive play? Not so much. If you caught us on our Twitch stream, we were borderline maybe falling asleep on some of those plays, because there were a serious lack of chances from either side, really. And but a late leveler from Josef Martinez from a penalty won by Brooks Lennon, and we go home at least a little bit, kind of satiated in that type of away performance. But Marc, yeah, what were your thoughts on a whole of this match?
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of the match that they played maybe, I guess, 3 years ago now, 2018 at the Benz. It was the same day as the World Cup Finals, so it was sort of a showcase for Big Fox. And it was a drab affair, that one ended 1-1. This one up in Seattle is pretty much the same thing, I think. Seattle had us on the ropes early a little bit, scoring early, and then you're kind of concerned, well, will they make it 2 before halftime? Will they add a couple goals in the second half? None of that materialized, and really, I don't think Seattle deserved more than the 1 goal that they got. When you look at the overall play, in terms of Atlanta United, we hung in there. I think the defense certainly has been if not the strong point for the team this season, and once again they repelled. They were, Seattle looked dangerous on the break at times, but I think the Anton Walks, Sosa once again, Miles, I think they stood tall, and it takes, when the lead's only one goal, it really just takes a moment, and then you're right back in the game. And Lane, I get that moment in, I think it was the 86th minute. Miles Robinson playing that pass up the right sideline, something we've seen a lot from him this season. Kind of waited perfectly for Brooks Lennon, just enough for Brooks Lennon to be able to run onto and earn the foul in the box for a penalty. I think I would have been shocked if Josef missed that penalty, honestly. And he finished it the way I expected him to. Went top corner, kind of brave, but yeah. And then we see the iconic celebration. So ends on a high note, but a lot there that was just left a lot to be desired.
Right. And I think some Seattle fans might be saying, oh, you scored against our, backup keeper, Stephen Cleveland. I mean, yada, yada, yada. Stephen Fry not around. Here's the thing. I mean, it's, they all count in that sense. Josef Martinez hasn't taken a penalty in over 2 years. So it's also, if they're giving caveats, we're giving caveats as well. Because, there's a lot of nonsense being thrown around in that sense. But, I think also, with that possession that we had, it was 65%, that, I think, can keep the opposing team at bay as well. And so that sometimes, is the point of such kind of possession. You keep it away from your opponent. So that is good. But, obviously, the lack of chances in this match. We had 10 shots, and, they had 6, apparently. So it's... the level of the excitement was definitely not quite there. I would say CF Montreal, that match was arguably more exciting than this one in terms of and the dangerous chances that Montreal fashioned were actually I think more I think kind of heart palpitation inducing than anything that Seattle really I think mustered. But I think a feature of this match also was Eric Lopez going to get that second yellow? Because, it was definitely close to, really asking for it from referee Kevin Stott because he got a yellow early, and it was fair. And then some of the other fouls that he was, giving away, just a little close. And so it's understandable that he was taken off at halftime because he was getting a lot of the referee's attention, and that's usually not very good of a thing. But yes,
not something you want to see from a forward either. Like that's not even what you're out there to do, really. So just not his best day.
Yeah, definitely not his best day. And but with this 1-1 scoreline, we have moved into third place in the Eastern Conference. We're 5 points behind first place New England, who are definitely just, I think, surprising a lot of people, for sure, this season in that sense. But, we've only lost one game on the road all season, and this was Josef Martinez's second goal. But I think, something that the team put out that I think maybe deserves slightly a little bit of a flack was... They gave the man of the match to Anton Walks, which deserved. He had a game-high 10 recoveries and some last-ditch tackles as well that really, I think, saved us from maybe conceding. But, they said that Anton Walks halted Seattle all match. And, to be fair, he did not he was not against Rui Diaz for the goal, but it's a little bit weird kind of, I think, verbiage a little bit, not the best tweet that LA United has put out there. But, and I think another player that probably should have deserved maybe some, some say in this, but probably because it's the Heineken man of the match usually, I believe. So, there's some things that, a Franco Ibarra, who's a teenager, can't get it. So that's the kind of conundrum, I think. But, he led the team in tackles, 6 clearances, 2 interceptions, 4. A lot of kind of player rating websites had him as probably our best player on the pitch. So, definitely something that is to be considered in the future when you see that, maybe the guy that's deserving possibly isn't the one that actually gets the man of the match. Happened to Ezequiel Barco a lot in previous years. But also, Josef Martinez, he feasts against the Western Conference MLS teams. It was his 16th goal in 14 games away versus those teams. So, that's obviously more than a goal per game, and quite the kind of goal return, I think, especially yeah, I mean, if you can continue that, and especially there's, it was a little bit of a layoff between, us playing MLS teams from the West as well. So, yeah, it's good to see that type of stat. Hope it continues. Josef Martinez talked about that kind of listless possession as well after the match. He's not exactly a fan of it, but he says, we have more possession than Seattle. They have a better team than us. We didn't create a lot of chances, but 1 point is enough for us. And he said also, I don't know if we are a good team or not yet. Ooh, that's I think telling, because I think a lot of fans are on the fence as well right now. Yes, it's early days, but we need to be able to put the ball in the back of the nets with regularity. We need to be able to create chances with regularity. Yes, these are good teams that we're playing, but still, it's if we are truly a good team, then we need to be able to do it against anybody, right? But Brad Guzan talked about if this was a satisfying point. He said, absolutely 100%. We pushed, we probed. We fully deserved at least a point today. And so, yeah, I mean, I get it from Goose's standpoint that they would say so. I think the result is good. The performance still is, I think, leaving something to be desired. Hainsey, he talked about what he liked about the team today. He says, what I really like is how we built up from the back, how the transition from the back to the front worked. What we need to improve is the final third so we can create even more chances. I also liked when the opponent had the ball, how close we were to them. These are things I like to talk about for sure. So yeah, he I think is pretty spot on. I mean, for the most part, we pressed them decently as well. But any thoughts on, the players and the coach and what they said?
Well, I'll take it from a more general point. If you were to take this result and even this performance in a vacuum, like, fair enough. You go up against the best team in the league away from home. I'm not sure how warm it was, but it's a tough venue. It's a tough opponent. And so, if it was a case of like LA United had been scoring a bunch of goals before this match and then they play like this, they keep the opponent at bay, they get the point away from home, I think we'd accept that. The concern is that this is what we've seen for most of the season. And it's like, we want to be more dynamic than this going forward. So I'm okay with everyone being satisfied with how hard the team worked and how the team played against Seattle. But going forward, I think everybody involved, including the players and the manager, would like to see a little more evolution. So,
absolutely. But so that pretty much does it for this match. Next up, of course, will be Nashville SC, as mentioned at the top of the show. And that will be Saturday, and we'll have that match preview for you later in the show. But let's get into the news. And a transfer rumor from Portal R7, a Brazilian site, pretty much said that LA United maybe made a bid of $15 million for Brazilian forward / winger Rony of Palmeiras. Apparently his contract extension talk with that club has stalled a little bit. He is making $600,000 a year right now, but he wants to possibly raise it to over $1 million. And he just joined them in February of 2020. But there are some other clubs that's along the lineage of when he was brought to Palmeiras that maybe have some eyes that are keen on the situation, and thus maybe why this whole scenario was put out there as a transfer rumor to begin with. If it's real or not, it will remain to be seen. But it kind of makes sense a little bit to a degree that we would be in the market for a goal-scoring winger, even though 11 goals and 10 assists in 49 appearances isn't exactly a groundbreaking return, but it is, I think, decent. And for a 26-year-old that's who's pacey, who's a guy that likes to dribble at opponents and be direct, and has a decent eye for goal. A guy who's in his prime, $15 million. I'm not so sure that that's the maybe move that we should make. But this type of profile of player I think would be nice. But it's also, we are full of DPs at the moment. But according to Felipe Cardenas in his Athletic article, that Alan Franco could be a guy that would be bought down pretty quickly. So, with all that being said, Marc, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, if they are able to buy down Alan Franco, then it does seem like that was always on the horizon. I mean, like, it was a little bit of an eyebrow raiser when Alan Franco was announced as a DP to begin with. So if they've created that flexibility for themselves, then good on them. Look, I think it's clear. I've been a little more vocal about this the last couple of weeks. I think it's clear that we need to make a move this summer. The argument that a lot of us would make is that the summer transfer window is the better one. And so my feeling is, if you want to improve the team not only immediately but for next season, I think what you do in this summer window is important. In terms of this player, there's things to like, things to not like so much. I'm kind of with you on the 21 goal contributions in 49 appearances isn't that much, but
it's better than the players that we have currently. Yes,
it is. And in theory, he plays in a better league. In terms of the playing, obviously I haven't seen a full game of him, so I always like to put that caveat in there. But from the highlights you see, is a player who likes to take players on, who generally likes to try things in terms of different flicks and feints and whatnot. So he's sort of unpredictable, which is something that we often liken with Tito. So it's just that that price tag. That's the thing too. It's like if you're willing, let's just say if Atlanta United is willing to spend that amount of money, I'm just curious as to what other players they can get. We've seen more and more MLS teams go to Liga MX, and I think that makes perfect sense. Like, I think that's less of an adjustment, and there are some high quality players in Liga MX, and so we don't really hear Atlanta United linked with those kind of players too often, especially not attacking players. I'm just curious if that's a market that they're exploring as well, because there are definitely one or two players that I would take on Atlanta United right now from that league. So I don't know. I mean, we need to bring in a player. I think that's any sign of activity is a good thing, but Boca's just got to get it right.
Right. And some people have maybe kind of mentioned that Tito Villalba would be a cheaper option. He obviously is willing to return, maybe in a sense, at least according to our poll and our question that we posed. He pretty much answered the poll of, would you like Tito Villalba to return to Atlanta United? And he said yes. Which, whether it's for banter or not, it kind of set the thing a little alight. But I mean, he was sold to Libertad for $4.4 million apparently, and that would be significantly less, I think, than Rony in that sense. There would be, I think some similar skill sets, similar age, and he wouldn't have to be a DP. And he already has a green card. So there is, some, I think, things to consider if, Tito Villalba is serious about a return. It's maybe about people swallowing their pride. So it's, I think something maybe the team could look at that, would be, I think, for a lot of fans, they would appreciate it a good large bit for sure. But anyway, let's move on to Ezequiel Barco, and he has made the Argentina U23s roster. And those are for the friendlies versus Denmark and Saudi Arabia. But Darren Eales did say to the AJC that if Barco is healthy, he could go, but they're still assessing his health at the moment. So, obviously his hamstring, it usually takes around at least 3 weeks to recover, and then he's still got to get match fitness. So if he's going to take a part, I seriously have my doubts, but, he does need to return to Atlanta United as soon as possible. Do you think him playing for the Argentina U23s, putting him in the shop window, quote unquote, really does, maybe his transfer fee any good? Or is it pretty much kind of the same, like it's going to be the, what it is at the moment?
No, yeah, I can't see this having any effect. I mean, we're talking about U23 friendlies. Like, we're talking about an age group that doesn't exist out of the Olympic cycle, and matches that don't matter. The only value I think these matches would have is if Barco is okay to play, and he plays like maybe 30 minutes. Like, I'm not even talking about starting. It's just like if he's able to at least get back on the field and run around a bit with them, okay, fine. But outside of that, I don't think he should go, and I think Darren Eales is sowing those seeds of doubt from the onset. It's like, well, if he's healthy, and then they can easily spin that too. He needs more time to recover, which could be true at the same time. So, these are this announcement of him being selected is whatever to me.
Yeah. So let's move on. The 2021 LA United parlay kit has been revealed, and it went on sale, of course, last week, etc., etc. Yeah, this kind of blue, kind of, mixture of some kind of what we've kind of seen some of the kits kind of do last year with kind of the kind of tubing on the top of the sleeves, and then the bottom, kind of the torso looking kind of, with a little bit of a design. But, it kind of, I think, probably sold pretty well, especially on the first day. There were some pictures of some of the parlay kits that essentially not really parlay kits. It's essentially it seems like the kind of sponsor logos, the team logos and Adidas logos are the things that were made from recycled water bottles. And what do you think about that revelation that it's not exactly the kit itself that maybe is made from recycled water bottles?
Well, so I saw someone tweet this, and I kind of agree. It was basically like, what exactly is the purpose of the parlay kit? Like, how does it work in terms of, like, where does this money go to and all that? So I guess in a sense, I personally was already a little bit jaded about the parlay kit this season. Like, previous season, I've been like, oh, that's cool looking, I would get that, and then I wasn't able to get it. But this time around, I wasn't really even too fussed about getting it. There's also a revelation that Adidas may have used this design before, so like this is essentially just like another one of their jerseys, but then, as you said, with the official logos and whatever. So it's it didn't, I don't know, it's fine. Like, it's a decent looking kit. But in terms of it, the cause of it and whatnot, I kind of don't buy it. But
yeah,
I don't know.
A little bit questionable at the moment. Yeah. Right, but it's a tough kind of thing to kind of grasp at the moment of what's actually going on. There's speculation abound, essentially, about the parlay kits, and I think a little bit more transparency from the league would be, I think, some good PR probably, even though a lot of people did buy it. It is a decent looking kit, but anyway, let's move on to Atlanta United 2, and they have been getting a good run of results lately. They drew 2-2 against Memphis 901. We saw our old friend in Laurent Kissidou score against us and do a little old man celebration that, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it was a pretty good celebration there. But but Aidan Mcfadden, our new super draft pick from this year, has been on a tear. The last 2 matches, he has scored 4 goals, playing from the right back spot of all things. And so in college he was an attacking midfielder. So I think he's just kind of doing a job there, and he's doing a hell of a job. He is getting forward, and he pretty much picked one out of the air on a volley that was a beautiful goal. And Alec Can, he also played his first professional match in over 2 years, since August 14th of 2019. So really great to see Can get back into the swing of things as well. But back to Mcfadden, he was named the USL Player of the Week, so congrats to the new boy. And if he continues to really show out, I mean, he might make a case for the first team in a really short amount of time. So, hopefully he continues to do that. And we all know we need some goal scoring from the run of play for sure. And, if he can do it, why not? So, anyway, let's move on into the match preview. And we will be taking on our neighbors to the northwest, just slightly, of course, in Nashville SC. It will be at the Benz at 3:30 this Saturday. And, Nashville last season was their inaugural season. We, of course, took that first match, their inaugural match. But they did enjoy, I think most would say, a very successful expansion season. They set records for their defensive prowess, and then they won 2 rounds in the playoffs. And then, they also beat fellow expansion side Miami and upset Toronto FC. So, it's pretty good. Pretty damn good. They, I think I would say they did better than our inaugural season just lately in
And also, they came in at the same time as Miami. I don't know how many people would have predicted Nashville outperforming Miami, not only in the first season, but pretty much so far as the existence of both franchises go. Yeah. I think Nashville has had the better, they have an identity. I think they're trying to evolutionize a little bit in terms of their attack, but they're a tough opponent, man.
Oh yeah, they pretty much are basing their whole play on a very stout defense, and Gary Smith.
It's working.
It's working. They're so far undefeated in their season, and so Gary Smith has them playing really, really well. Of course, he is a former Atlanta Silverbacks head coach as well, and so there is definitely something that they're doing right there. Now, are they going to be able to score enough goals to really, I think, sustain this? We will see. But last season, they placed 7th in the Eastern Conference, 32 points. Let's get into their key acquisitions from the offseason, though. Marc, take it away.
Yep. So we have Rodrigo Pinero. He's a Uruguayan youth international. He's a winger. Signed from Danubio this offseason. He's 21 years old. He's considered a big talent. As we mentioned, they're trying to develop I think a more dynamic attack, and he's certainly going to be a part of that, you would feel. CJ Sapong, I mean, man, this guy has been everywhere. And he ends up in Nashville. 71 goals, 25 assists, and 276 career appearances in the league. Sort of a versatile sign. He can play out wide, but you figure he'll be more up top, maybe playing in 2-striker combination for the team. Now, they ended up losing Derek Jones, rotational piece in their midfield. And David Akam, he was a veteran attacker who figured to play more, but he didn't actually end up playing that much for them. And so he left this past off season.
Yeah. And so getting into our series matchup against them, there have been 3 matches. We, of course, beat them in that first match. Like I said, there's been 2 Atlanta United wins with 6 goals, and then they have that last win against us 4-2. They have scored 5 goals all in all, with 0 draws between us. So, it's been a back and forth affair between us and them, and we have some bragging rights. They have a little bit of bragging rights. There's a little bit of spiciness that we could say going into this matchup. But like I said, they've been undefeated this season so far. Lots of draws, 4 draws, and then 2 wins, but still undefeated nonetheless. But for us, we've been the picture of inconsistency a little bit in a way. Pretty much draw, win, loss, draw, win, draw. It's we got to get on kind of a winning form as soon as possible, I feel like. But thankfully, I would say the U.S. Open Cup is not actually happening because I mean, we're kind of in there whereabouts, but it's I would be a little bit reticent to say that we'd be maybe quite doing as well as we would hope. Going into those type of competitions. But getting into their players to watch, Marc, take it away.
Yep. So Walker Zimmerman, of course, has to be the main one. He was a big acquisition before their inaugural season began. He's what they build their defense around. Reigning Defender of the Year. He's been worth every Garber buck. And he expects him to anchor the defense, a very strong defense once again, and he has been so far. We have Ani Mukhtar. He was one of their DPs in 2020. Interesting note, he, Randall, Leal, Cadiz, and Mukhtar played exactly 0 games together, and they were their DPs last season. So hopefully, they can, well, not hopefully, but they're hoping that they can develop a little more consistency this season in their attack. And then you have the veteran Dax McCarty, another big acquisition from the previous season. He plays that holding midfield role, is a big part of why they're stout defensively. You could liken him to a sort of what Michael Parker or Sir Jeff Lorena was meant to us in terms of that MLS domestic veteran. And so, they have a tough spine, certainly, and you figure they'll be tough to break down.
Indeed. And so, they, I think, like you're saying, that spine is something that we need to look out for. But luckily, getting to our injury report, that Walker Zimmerman is maybe questionable with a left ankle injury in this match. So we'll see if he actually plays. Abu Danladi is out with a left hamstring, and Brian Anunga is out with a left quad and knee. So, that's... maybe a little encouraging, again, with the Zimmerman thing. But Atlanta United, of course, Barco, Dom, Chol, Adams, all out. And questionable still, I would say, is Alan Franco. We'll, of course, get an update, I think, later on this week. But seemingly so far, he does not seem to have returned to training, at least from the pictures and whatnot. But let's get into what the opponent's 11 could kind of look like. They play a 4-2-3-1. McCarty and Godoy are those kind of the pivot within their setup. And you have Mukhtar as that central attacking midfielder, Leal as that left midfielder, and Alex Moyle as that right midfielder. And so, there's... will they be dangerous against us? We'll see. Will Zimmerman play? We'll see. But they are definitely that type of team that plays big. They are that type of team that likes to cross a lot, take a lot of shots, and they will be pretty non-aggressive. They're a team that isn't going to be too direct, and they're not going to, I think, maybe worry the defense to a degree. I think maybe more set pieces and maybe more that type of scoring chance for them. But let's get into our predicted scoring 11, or starting 11 rather. And Marc, let's get through Guzan, but also let's what's our defense gonna be?
I no surprises for me. Don't mess with a good thing. So you have Lennon, Robinson, Walks, and Bello. And honestly, I don't think there's anybody else that can really sub in right now, especially with Franco being questionable. But this backline seems to have a good chemistry, and so I don't see why you would change that.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that chemistry is the important part right here because I still want to see Ronaldo Hernandez get a run out at some point, something, and then maybe Lennon moves up later in the match or just gets subbed kind of directly. But yeah, the back line has been doing, I think, very well for the most part, handling most of the the danger. But yeah, getting into the midfield, so. For me, it's Ibarra, Sosa, and Heinemann. I think pretty straightforward there. That last match, I think to take maybe Ibarra out after he had such a strong kind of run outs, I think, I think you got to give some continuity and, let him continue. But what about you? What do you think?
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree with those points. Definitely want to see more Hyman getting forward. I think especially in this matchup where we're at home, the opponent is going to be difficult to create against. I think Hyman is going to have to be a key player. And then, so obviously you're not removing from the lineup any Ibarra. I agree. Off of the back of that strong performance, he deserves to start again. I am curious to see if Hasetu gets in this game and at what point. I'm glad to see that he's back, and I think that he could become a key option in the midfield that hasn't experienced too much rotation so far. So yeah, that's but certainly the same three for me.
Yeah, and up top, I think Moreno. Well, yeah, that match maybe left some things to be desired from maybe his decision-making standpoint. But yeah, he still is, I think, from kind of a running at defensive standpoint, still our best option at the moment. I think, I think he starts on the left. Josef starts up top, but I have Mulroney on the right. I think he deserves, a start here because he has been, I think, kind of creating some chances, kind of maybe looking a little bit more dangerous than kind of very raw Eric Lopez at the moment. But what about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I've got the same three, Moreno, Josef, and Mulroney in the same positions. I think, unfortunately, it's a little bit of it does pick itself. I don't think you can really go back to Lopez, not only because of how he played versus Seattle, but I think in general, he hasn't been too convincing in that left wing position. So, yeah, I think Moreno returns there, and I would have Mulroney returning to the lineup as well. That's certainly the position where we're experiencing the most injuries as well, it seemed like. So for this match, that's my three as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're really missing some different dynamic off the bench. Of course, Sparko, Dom, but I think also a Machop Chol that, his size and his, I think, balance running at defenses we saw in preseason and a little bit against Orlando. That's a different kind of look that I think would bring a lot of excitement, I feel like. But unfortunately, we will not be able to probably see that this match. But let's get into what we'd like to see the team do in this match then. But I would like to see the team score from the run of play, hopefully. And, that would be fantastic, especially at home. But, we need to definitely take more risks and create chances because, again, I think Nashville isn't going to be too terribly direct. So, let's push guys forward and try to break down a team that I think will probably be kind of a pretty low block, at least a medium to low block. And so, we, I think, should try to, impose ourselves this match. Yes. What do you think?
Totally agree. I mean, I would be surprised if we see anything but a medium low block from Nashville. And so I think the onus is on Atlanta. Certainly we'll have the possession, you would figure, but to keep them penned in, keep the pressure on and, keep the tempo up. I think that's, and matches like that in the past, we've been guilty of being trapped into like a slow rhythm, not really creating much. I think the first goal in this match is going to go a long way, given how you expect both teams to play. And so, if Nashville scored first, I think it's going to be difficult to get 3 points out of that game. So the first goal is key. I hope that we score in the first half, go into halftime with a good feeling, and then ideally.
Yeah. Well, ideally, what I think we
ideally put the game away.
Yes. So yeah, hopefully we do. The odds say that LA United have a 47.6% chance to win, a draw at 28.6%, and Nashville have a 30.3% chance to win. Now, Nashville have kept a clean sheet in 7 of their last 9 matches. They've drawn their last 3 away matches as well in MLS. And they've actually been drawing at both halftime and full-time in their last 3 away matches. So, yeah, it's draw city, and it's clean sheet city for them, pretty much. Kind of annoying, but that gets us into our score prediction. Then, Mark, what do you got?
Oh, I hate to be this guy, but I don't think there are going to be any goals in this match. I just think that's the way. Yeah, scoreless draws, board draw. I think the way both teams are playing right now, defenses are dominant. And certainly for LA United, the attack is very much a work in progress. We just don't have dynamic enough options, I feel like, at the moment. And so I just think the chance is going to be really difficult to come by. So goalless draw for me.
Yeah. I am going to go against all the odds, all of what we've said, because I think the 12th man here with the fans, that X factor that pretty much hasn't really been seen, I think, I think we can pull a 1-0 win at home here. I think, maybe, I think because when Josef scores, he scores in bunches. I think he can get one in this match and send the 17s home happy. So let us know what you predict in the comments below. But that pretty much does it for the match preview and the entire show, except for the question of the day. And the question of the day is, would you like to see LA United sign a $15 million winger? Let us know in the comments below. We're looking forward to what you have to say. But guys, that's it for us today. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. For Mark, I'm AJ. Thank you so much for watching.